Good morning, everybody. Hello, welcome. Good morning. Yay. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, hello. Hi. We're here with Perry. I know. We're here with Perry on World Health Day, so come on in. Let me know that you're here and we'll get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. Yeah, when you come in, just let me know that you're here by shooting your name in the comments down there, and we'll get started. I also love hearing where everybody is from. It's really exciting to know that folks are watching from all over the country. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Today we're celebrating World Health Day. I know. World Health Day is an exciting event that's been going on for the last few years, and we'll talk more about what that is when more folks join us in here. But we're really excited to be here with Perry this morning, our beautiful Peregrine Falcon ambassador. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Let me know that you're here with a little comment, and I'll give everyone a shout out. And we also love knowing where you guys are from. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Good morning, Lynn. Hello. Good morning, everybody. And as always, there is a donation button on our videos. We really appreciate all of the support. Yesterday, I logged off, and good morning, Kim. Hello. And I realized that there were some donations that I did not see pop up in the comment stream. So I'm sorry that if I missed your donation from yesterday. Sometimes not all of the comments will pop up in the side here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Today is World Health Day, which is a special international event that's put on by several organizations, the World Health Commission, the WHO, lots of different organizations. Perry's got a mouse this morning, so just a heads up that it might be a little bit gross for a little bit here. So a lot of organizations that subscribe to One Health or advocate for One Health will get together and celebrate One Health with various projects from around the world. Good morning, Katie. Hello. Hi. Yeah, it's chilly here. I'm sure it's cold where you guys are too. Good morning, Priscilla in Winthrop. Hello. Hi. So we're here with Perry this morning. Perry is our Peregrine Falcon ambassador here at the Center for Wildlife. He is a male, and he's been with us for about 8 years now. So he is most likely around 9 years old, though. We got him as around a yearling here at the center. He came to us after he flew into a power transformer. Hi. So he flew into a power transformer and was unfortunately electrocuted and is not able to really fly anymore. He can kind of launch himself into areas of his enclosure, but he's not able to get up off the ground. So these guys in the wild are the fastest animals in the world, period. They dive off of the tops of cliffs and mountain faces and can get up to 300 miles an hour in a nosedive towards the ground. So the fastest animals on the planet. They're very, very intelligent birds as well. They're used across the world in falconry, which is a sport that involves falcons. Hi. And they are just an amazing animal and an amazing example of evolution and how the adaptations that nature creates to be fast and be amazing hunters can all be adopted in one body. And in fact, humans have mimicked a lot of these adaptations to suit our needs in jet planes, in engines, things like that. So very, very amazing evolutionary specimens going on here. Hi! They're also a member of the raptor family, which is a large family of birds that includes hawks and eagles and falcons that we talk a lot about here on the Center for Wildlife. Our owls are in this group, and everyone really loves owls in the month of October, so we've been doing a lot of owl programming. Peregrine falcons and raptors in general, though, also face some other issues that come up as a result of human activity. And One Health, good morning, Mary, hello. One Health initiatives are really aimed at making people aware of the ways that our actions impact wildlife, impact our our domestic animals and our human health, and getting at problems and solving problems using a lot of different approaches to those problems that include things like ecosystem health and domestic animal health. So One Health is a really great initiative that strives to increase collaboration between all those fields, and then also to solve problems in the world, some of our most urgent problems, by using a One Health approach. So looking at the whole picture, looking at the ways in which everything is connected, and using all of our resources that we have available to solve a problem. So really a multidisciplinary approach. So getting information from rehabilitators like the Center for Wildlife, as well as foresters, as well as veterinarians, as well as doctors, as well as public health officials. So using all of these amazing resources to answer some of the world's most urgent problems. And this is a very poignant time to be talking about One Health. It ties in directly to our conversation about coronavirus and about spillover events, how viruses jump from animals to people, how we can prevent those from happening again in the future. So it's a very important time to be considering these approaches. Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, Tiffany. Hello. And just as we celebrate One Health Day, we are going to be chatting about the One Health story of our peregrine falcons. So peregrine falcons have a really incredible story of decline and then recovery, and some of that recovery can be down to human activity and very concerted conservation efforts, and some of it is their doing because they adapted to humans really successfully. So we're going to talk all about today about the story of the peregrine falcon. So the peregrine falcon is found across the world on every continent except Antarctica. They are a migratory bird species, so they are known to fly thousands of miles to migrate from where they spend their summers to where they spend their winters. So they're impacted by a lot of different countries, a lot of different environments. Perry is in fine fit today. Hello, he's eating his breakfast. He's happy. So the peregrine falcon has a story that involves a lot of different countries and a lot of different regions of the world. And the story of the American peregrine falcon is not necessarily the story of other peregrine falcons throughout the world. So the American peregrine falcon has been through a lot of stuff. Many of us might be familiar with and appreciate the work of Rachel Carson and her seminal book, Silent Spring. And this outlined the use of really nasty chemicals in our environment called pesticides that were used in agricultural efforts to kill pests on plants and to make crops more successful and to make more food for people. So pesticides, were originally sprayed on agricultural products and plants and wheat and all of this stuff to make more food for people. So yes, Chuck is named the famous one. DDT is the most famous example of this. Pesticide use has been going on since World War I. It was really they were really developed during that time. But they really took off in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And, DDT is the most famous example of a pesticide that was sprayed on agricultural crops en masse in very large amounts without really considering the effects that it would have on the environment, specifically on the animals that ate the insects that this chemical was designed to kill. It's a very toxic chemical, and what happens is it makes insects either die or be lethargic because it's poisoning them. And then little robins, little animals that eat insects, will eat a bunch of those DDT-laden insects, and they will get sick and lazy. And then an animal like a peregrine falcon, who's at the top of their food chain, who eats robins, who eats other birds, will eat a bird that is sick and feeling lethargic from DDT, and then they'll get it in their system. And over the course of the lifetime of a peregrine falcon, they might eat hundreds of birds that are, that have some amount of this chemical in their system. And what happens is that this chemical is a man-made product. Hi. It's not known to break down very quickly, and when it does break down, it breaks down into really harmful products, really harmful chemicals. And this chemical built up in the system of our peregrine falcons, like Perry here, and caused them to get really sick. So DDT built up in the system of our peregrines and caused them to get very, very sick, and unfortunately was causing them to have issues laying their eggs. Their eggs would become really brittle and thin and crack really easily. When they went to sit on their eggs, they would crush them. So there were a lot of peregrine falcons passing away before they were even hatched from the egg. And this made their numbers decline pretty significantly throughout the 60s and 70s. So Rachel Carson's Silent Spring was a book that wrote all about this, all about the decline of our raptors and our songbirds. Eagles and other hawk species were another group of birds that that suffered from DDT. So Rachel Carson wrote this amazing book, and it really spawned the environmental movement. It helped to create, governmental agencies like the EPA that are, aware of these chemicals and help to regulate the use of them. And they also created the Endangered Species Act. And peregrine falcons until 1999 were listed on this Endangered Species Act. And because of really concerted human efforts to sustain their populations, to improve their numbers, to put, captive bred peregrines that were healthy back out into the wild, to support nests whenever possible, to conserve habitat where nesting was occurring whenever possible, these peregrine falcons have rebounded in an amazing way. They've come back from the brink of extinction, and now they are fairly common, and they were actually delisted and taken off of that federal endangered species list in 1999, which is really, really exciting. Good morning, Perry, or Paulette. Hello. Good morning, Amy. Perry's excited. Perry wants the rest of his breakfast. He's wondering why I didn't bring all of his food with me this morning. So peregrines were fortunately taken off of that endangered species list. They're doing much better. Part of their survival really came about because they were able to adapt to humans, to our presence. A lot of them chose to nest on bridges or on skyscrapers or on other buildings. There are many that nest on the Empire State Building, for example, because a skyscraper to a peregrine falcon looks a lot like a mountain. It's like a man-made version of a mountain. And it also usually has lots of their favorite prey animals living nearby, like pigeons or other birds. So peregrine falcons have adapted really well to living in human-developed areas. And this is often one of the things that that really allows an animal to thrive, is when they figure out how to live near humans, they do a really, really good job of adapting and being successful. It's the animals that have a hard time living near people that really suffer. And so what's amazing about this story of the peregrine falcon is it gets at the ways in which One Health approaches to solving problems can really help to benefit humans, to benefit peregrines, to benefit our ecosystems as well. So peregrines actually are very supportive of humans. Just their presence in the wild helps to maintain pest levels at a normal level. So when they're out in the wild eating other birds, eating gulls, eating lots of pigeons and things like that, they're helping to maintain those the levels of those animals at levels that we can sustain, so those animals don't overrun our cities and our populations. They also help to keep diseases in those animals down and prevent overcrowding of those animals. So being a predator is a really important job for the rest of the food chain, and it helps to actually ensure the food chain is healthy. So peregrines are actually really, really helpful. The other thing is that DDT didn't really just impact peregrine falcons and raptors. Chuck has noted that osprey and other eagles and hawks are other sufferers from DDT. DDT would get into water and cause a lot of issues with animals that like to fish, like eagles and osprey. And then hawks would also, hawks and a lot of these animals still deal with the effects of other pesticides and rodenticides every day. So we still see in our medical clinic animals coming into us that have been poisoned, either small mammals that have been purposefully poisoned with rodenticides, or raptors like Perry, who have eaten poisoned animals and have become poisoned themselves. So most of the raptors that come into our medical clinic have some level of pesticide load in them. And this is when we start to talk about the use of pesticides and when it is really harmful in ways that people don't anticipate. So pesticides like DDT, we are fairly familiar with. We know DDT is bad. It was banned in the United States. But there are other pesticides that people still use. And DDT has been shown to, has been linked to breast cancer and reproductive organ issues in humans in areas where it was sprayed in large amounts. Other pesticides, when they're ingested by people, can cause asthma, can cause respiratory issues, can cause toxicity issues. So pesticides are not just bad for animals, they're bad for people. They're also ineffective. About 1% of all of the pesticides that are sprayed on our lawns or on our weeds actually reach the target pests that they're trying to kill. The other 99% of that pesticide is released into the air, into the water, into the soil, or broken down by the sun before it can even do its job. So, so the side effects of these pesticides are really not worth the benefits that they might cause by killing a few mosquitoes every year. So, good morning, Naomi from Rhode Island. And actually, pesticide use has been on the decline in the United States. This is something that's really exciting. Is in the last 40 years, pesticide use since 1979 has declined. From its peak in 1979, it's declined 25% since then. And we've actually been able to make more crops than ever because of other ways of doing farming, other ways of agriculture that don't include pesticides. So pesticide use on a large scale is down, and that's fantastic. It's still common though, it's still widespread, and it could be lower. And what's really cool is that the fact that we've been able to make just as much food and make just as much agricultural products without the use of all these pesticides means that there are other ways of doing business. We can use things like integrated pest management that include the rest of the food chain in eating all of those pests. So getting some predators for those insects around us so that they can eat all of those bugs. Bats are a great example of this. They provide pest control for free for us every year. So supporting the predators of the insects that we don't want on our plants can really help us. Also, producing crops that are modified in some way to be less susceptible to pests is another way that we can get around using pesticides. So these chemicals that get into our water, into our food, into our soil, that go and last forever. And Chuck has mentioned lead also. This is another big issue that we see, especially in our area where we have a lot of old infrastructure, old plumbing infrastructure, old lead pipes, or folks still using lead shot. We see lead also building up and accumulating in raptor species as well. So I know that was a lot of information, guys, and I just wanted to celebrate One Health Day with you guys and talk about the ways that we're all connected and the ways that we can support our beautiful raptor species. So if you have any questions about Perry or any questions about One Health, please let me know. I'm so excited to talk about this today. It's something that we're really passionate about here at the center because we see it every single day. So if you have any questions about what we're talking about here on One Health Day, please ask. Also, if you'd like to know more about Perry, he is very sweet and has been with us for a long time. So peregrine falcons are really well known for being very intelligent birds, and Perry is very smart. He's also just a very sweet boy. He loves his handlers. He loves people. He's been with us since he was about a year old, so he's very used to humans. He will often sit in his little window of his enclosure and bow at people as they come by. He loves to bow to his handlers. He gets really excited for his breakfast, for his food. So Perry's a ham, and we love talking about him. But please let me know if you guys have any questions. I know it can be a heavy topic to talk about these things. It's not always the most positive, but the really cool part of it is that we have made some really positive changes, and we can continue to do that. So we've made positive changes in the way that we do farming, in the way that we control insects and pest populations and weeds and things like that. So, we can continue to make positive changes. It's really exciting, and a great message for an election day too. It's really exciting. Yeah. Good morning. We have some friends behind us. Does Perry have a bonded mate with him at the center? Asked Tiffany. So that's a really good question. Perry was actually brought to us as a potential mate for our previous Peregrine Falcon ambassador named Freya. She was a female. She had been with us for probably around 6 years when we got Perry, and she was originally alone and what we call imprinted on people. So she kind of thought she was half falcon, half human, had been raised by people her whole life, wasn't really sure of how to interact with another peregrine falcon. So thank you, Amy. Yeah, I know we have probably a little bit more. Hi. We probably have definitely certain messages that on election day are important, and we want everyone to go vote and make sure that your voices are heard. But protecting our wildlife is always our first goal here at the center. So we can talk about that all day. And there are legislations against lead bullets and shots being used, as well as infrastructure upgrades that can help with that too. So Perry was originally brought to us as a potential mate for Freya, and we tried introducing them to each other, and they did not get along. Freya, because she was imprinted on people, kind of looked at Perry as like an invader of her space, kind of got jealous of the attention he was getting, and just generally acted aggressively towards him. And peregrines are bird eaters in the wild, so they will eat other species of birds, and that might include their own species if they're acting aggressively. So we certainly didn't want Perry to get into any trouble with Freya, and so we quickly put him into his own enclosure, and he is very happy in there. He really likes his space. He does like to be out with his handlers and enjoy the sunshine and walks and things. Good boy. And, potentially he could have a mate someday in the future. He's not imprinted on people, so he did spend about a year in the wild. Male peregrine falcons are also about half of the size of female peregrine falcons. So a female that is, aggressive towards a male could do some real damage. Perry was very small and Freya was very big. So the two of them didn't live together. But, it's always something that is a potential. Chuck, their life expectancy in captivity is into their 20s. So we had Freya with us for about 14 years, which in the wild would be a normal life expectancy for them. And she passed away due to ovarian cancer. So peregrine falcons and wild animals can get cancers and other illnesses just like humans can, and she passed away because of ovarian cancer, and so she was about 14 when she passed away, and she was very, very sweet. But in captivity they can live well into their 20s, so we'll hope to have a long life from Perry here. Perry's about 8 right now, and what's interesting is that Perry, they change their feathers, they kind of darken out over the course of their lifetime, so Perry's gotten progressively darker, especially in his face as he's gotten older. When we first started working together, Perry had these two little stripes that were under his eyes that were very thin, called malar stripes, that are meant to help to help block the sun from bouncing into their eyes and causing glare. And as they get older, their cheeks actually will fill in and become entirely black. And you can actually see it happening underneath Perry's cheek. You can see all of his feathers kind of coming together to meet each other there. His whole cheek will be completely filled in by the time he's about 10 years old. So he is, you know, he's getting older. He's getting up there. He originally came to us from the Vermont Institute of Natural Sciences in Keachie, Vermont. And like I mentioned, he was brought to us after he flew into a power transformer and was really badly electrocuted and sustained a lot of neurological issues and soft tissue damage to his wings. So this wing over here doesn't really extend properly anymore. They need to be in perfect flying shape to go back out into the wild to support their families, to hunt and be at the top of their food chain, and to be the fastest animals in the world, on the planet. They are able to dive at, like I mentioned, 300 miles an hour or more. And in order to do that, they really need to be in perfect condition. So Perry lives with us now, and he's very, very sweet. Yeah. And he is very good about helping to spread the message about DDT and about the impacts that we have on our wildlife and the ways that we can either positively support them, like Rachel Carson, you know, writing her seminal book and testifying before Congress, or you know, the EPA and the founding of the Endangered Species Acts and the really concerted conservation efforts that went into supporting peregrine falcons and creating a healthier world for them and a healthier world for us. And we can also have negative impacts, and so educating about the ways that we can do both of those things, and, you know, preventing one and making the other more possible is something that we really enjoy doing with Perry here. So yeah, so Chuck is mentioning the mallard stripes. So a lot of birds will actually have like dark stripes under their eyes to support, you know, to prevent that glare from happening, especially falcons. They're known for this. So kestrels, merlins, and peregrines have these stripes under their eyes, but a lot of songbirds actually have them too. Yeah, so the rest of the falcon group are all known for those mallard stripes. They're very cool. Hi! Where are you going? I know. Yeah. Yeah, we're so excited for One Health Day. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us and celebrating One Health Day with us today. We really appreciate being able to chat with you guys about these things. If you have any questions about One Health, you can visit the One Health Commission, or the CDC has some great links, and we'll link those on Facebook here for you. But thank you guys so much for joining us today on such a special day, and please get out and vote for vote for positive change for these guys. So I know. We're so excited. He's going to go get the rest of his breakfast now. And that's what he's trying to tell me. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow. Kristen will be back tomorrow with another one of our amazing animal friends. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We really, really appreciate all of your support. Though I think the wind, Chuck, the wind is making him excited, and he's also just really hungry. It's cold, and when it gets cold here, our birds start to worry about them starving, and so they get really food motivated. So we're gonna go give him his breakfast, and that'll settle him down. There's also some construction noise behind me from the new center, so that could be doing it too. It's also morning, and it's an exciting time to be alive. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Chuck. Have a great rest of your morning. Go vote. Thanks, everybody.